Alright guys, let me introduce you my jet called PlayStation 4 Pro. So, as you see, when it turned off. Alright, how quiet is that? Hopefully we'll achieve that step by fixing. For the first step, we're gonna pop the cap open using the two side. Apply your finger pressure in the front where the edge side is actually, and then slide it to the back and flip it open. And this two pop cap and also the side clips are where the pressure you can apply to open them. It's gonna be hard for the first time. And then here's a fan where usually we'll get some debris of dust, so you can use can sprayer, dust cleaner, alcohol pad, whatever to clean that. It might fix your problem for the first try. If it doesn't, continue watching. Okay, for the second method, if the first method didn't help, you're gonna clean the back side of the fan and also heat sinks. That might work. You'll need 3 tools. There's tweezer to remove the sticker, warranty sticker. You're not gonna need that. And then the slot head driver is what I use, the small one. And then also the phillip screwdriver. And the reason why I use that smaller slot head is because the torque was supposed to be required, but the torque size 8 doesn't fit my PlayStation. You'll see because there's an extra dot that PlayStation has. It's a weird one. So for the first thing you need to do, remove that clips. It's pretty easy, no tool required. The hard drive is right there. You need a phillip screwdriver. Just remove the hard drive and put the screws in somewhere nice so you can find it later. That'll be it. Okay, so there's 3 screws you need to take out using a torque dry supposedly, but I didn't have that, so I used that small one instead. And this tweezer will help you to remove the sticker, the warranty sticker. It'll be easier if you start from the top to bottom. Just rip it off and apply pressure where I showed you here and on the other spot here. It will be hard for the first time, and then the two side is open. You can just kind of slide it back to the left side there, and then that's where the pressure points. You can remove it. Well, actually, let's flip it back real quick and I'll screw some of those screwdrivers, which will help us a lot later to release the motherboard on the other side. You don't have to remove this just yet, but unscrewing this will only make it possible to remove the motherboard. I gotta restate that because I didn't know that before. So do that and flip it back and continue. Okay, so before the motherboard, actually there's this cover that needs to be removed real quick. So just a couple screws that requires torque, and another couple of this needs a phillip screwdriver. It's the one you can find really easy. I also need to remove this Wi-Fi antenna cable right there. I'll show you later. And here comes the silver torque screwdriver. I don't have the torque one that wears the hole together, so this one just helped enough. Because as you see, if you can see it clearly, this one just gets stuck, or actually it doesn't even go in really well. So yeah, remove the cover if you can. I'm gonna fast forward this part, but I also want you to see it. Took me about 7 to 8 minutes taking out, trying to place them in a good place so I can put them back later. But yeah, after removing those phillip screw and also the torque screw, which is the bigger silver one, you'd want to remove the Wi-Fi antenna cable. You just use your fingernail, that's it. 3 of them. You should be able to put them back nicely later too, because it pretty much extends to where it can be. So take the 3 out of its the holder spot too, and you should be fine to remove the cover here. And that's it for the cover. And now we come to the motherboard. So ideally I want to be able to just remove the motherboard after removing some of the screws like I did for the cover, but for some reason I had to come back here, so you might also have to. So come back for the other side. But here I was losing one of the antenna holder. I wasn't sure where to put back yet. But yeah, so flip it back, you have to remove some of those screws. Take out the power management, I think this is, or power storage you call it. Then you'll be able to remove the motherboard in front. Alright, so you remove that couple of torque drive, then you'll be able to see this clip that's still attached as a cable to the motherboard. And boy, was this the hardest part of any step. It was so hard that I had to use a wrench that I showed you. But then it was stupid in the beginning. I was pulling the wrong side, but this is what it should like and what you should start pulling from that clip on the left, that little white spot there. So yeah, you just have to twerk it around like left to the right. I'm taking this much time just to explain you this because I think this is going to be the hardest part for you as well. So I don't want you to mess up and pulling the wrong thing. Use something that I used, or if you have really strong, like, you know, fingernail, something like that. You can try it, but I don't think it's gonna work. So yeah, only then we can come to the motherboard where we can start removing them, because this part is really holding the motherboard. Alright. Okay, so finally got back to the motherboard here. So before removing any screws or the motherboard, let's remove this rubber or plastic cable, whatever you call this. So starting from the first one will be the hardest, as I saw, but you actually just need to like flip this little gate on it, then you'll be easily remove it just like everything else. I forced it too much because I did not know there's a little cap. You can flip it, then it'll be easier to remove them. So after removing all the rubber, so now after you removed all the rubber band, now it's time to remove all the screws using a Phillips screwdriver. You'll just have to apply a little pressure after removing the screws to take this cover off. Use your fingernail or something that doesn't actually scratch the motherboard too much. It's not too hard, but just be concerned with the motherboard. Okay, now the cover off. There's another thing that's holding the CPU. Just have to use a Phillips screwdriver again. Remove these 4 screws. As you see on those sides, the little square, like black squares, are the ones we'll apply patch later. That will also reduce the hit a lot. So after removing this, it doesn't need a tools for this, it's just a clip-on. Okay, so we finally got access to the clean motherboard. At this point you can decide to going with your approach second by cleaning the heatsink, or you can just go straight to the third method. For me, the third one helped, but you can remove this cover right here, and then behind it, it's the heatsink. You could just spray the dust cleaner to the heatsink and also the fan, the other side of fan. But for my final solution is this paste right here. It got dried out, if you can see it clearly. It's supposed to connect this copper right here. That's a heatsink, the other side of the heatsink, so it should reduce hit pretty sufficiently if it was still a solid, you know, material. But because it's dried out, pretty much disconnected, it's not good anymore. So then I have to apply a new one. But before then, I'll show you how to clean them. It's pretty easy. I just used Clorox, and just make sure it's dry before you put it back on afterward. So as you see, this is after cleaning. It doesn't have to be ridiculously clean, but just you spend that much effort to get here, just clean a little bit like I did with Clorox. Make sure it's dried out before you can put it back on. So the next, we cut the thermal pad. We'll use this in 2 parts. One thermal pad I have like a rubber band right here. I will apply, also this is the thermal paste, which I will show later. So I need to divide the thermal pad to two parts. This small memory components there I just showed you just look like this on the other side, and then also this memory unit I will cover. So just with this one rubber band, you want to measure that. I was able to do it. It was just enough. It doesn't have to be too big though for this black square, but I just like to fit them nicely. So I started with the bigger one first, vertically. Just divide them, probably like 80% to 20 kind of ratio. Mark them with this little plastic saying that came with the pad, and a scissor, just a home regular scissor. Sorry if I forgot to mention that in the beginning. Just cut them apart. You start, this thing is like a chewed vet gum, so it's not really sticky, but I know it's kind of gross to describe like that, but gotta let you know before you buy it. And it's easier, you don't even need scissor to cut them if you have knife or something. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm just measuring the size here for each one, marking them. I think it was just enough, if I remember correctly. Okay, so now coming back to the other side where we can apply I think this is the memory unit, which also needs the pad, which will help a lot also if so I'm recycling the old parts in case if the new one goes wrong or anything. So the PlayStation originally was stored on that side of the cover, but I decided just to put it here. It's precisely, and it worked out fine afterwards. So again, the same thing, just marking for each memory unit. I'm happy that it ended up being just enough. So if you just do it like I did, it should be perfect. Even if not, you can reuse some of the original part, but aftermarket one is better, trust me. Missing one or two shouldn't be a huge deal. It should still fix your problem, but hopefully you will not miss after following this video. Alright, so thermal pad already been patched to each unit, and now we apply the paste. I'll attach the link to this again. I don't make any money from it, but I want you to save some because I got it for $10, which as opposed to $50 to other places comparably. Just apply like I did. I know I probably will never use this again for the second time, but I still went easy, probably half, 45% of the tube, so that I can just flip this back and just attach to it like a Oreo cookie. So yeah, thermal pads are applied. You have to remember to take out the original pads, of course. Just put it back, and now it's basically just putting stuff back together. You can skip this, I think, for a minute. I will show you the end result on how nice it sounds after the fix. So in case if you forgot where the screw goes, you can, I think, pause or slow this down. But if you store them nicely in a box like I did, they don't usually fit in the places they shouldn't, so this shouldn't be a big trouble. So this little crossing, make sure that the curve, it's like going under, not above it, if you understand what I mean. Or even if you did it wrong, this thing is kind of flexible. It's not gonna cause big problem. Alright. Alright guys, look at this. You can't even feel anything is on. It's almost just like you're using your, like not even a laptop. It's better than laptop, like an iPhone or something. But I'll also make sure the game behaved the same. So as you see, I demoed with Battlefield, and as soon as it started, the PlayStation become like a jet. So now as you hear it, if you can't hear anything, I didn't block the mic or anything, you could, so it's perfect. I hope that fixes your problem. Let me know if you had any question or anything I missed explaining. Thanks if you liked the video and it helps you. Subscribing will help me to produce more videos like this. Thank you. Well, actually,